Hello everybody and welcome to Young Hero Rants, the show in which I rant about whatever aspect of the world is annoying me lately. I'm your host, ThatKidDouglas, aka the Young Hero, the internet's loneliest D-list personality, and today we're going to talk about bandwagons. Now, this idea was suggested to me by my good buddy Schnobsman, and actually he was going to make a video of his own about this, but he couldn't find a way to make the idea work. So he passed it along to me, and I'm going to do it because it's an utterly fantastic idea. So without any further ado, let's get started. We're going to start with gray area bandwagons. Now, a gray area bandwagon is a bandwagon that some people either consider to be good, while others consider it to be bad, pointless, unneeded, unnecessary, blah 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 blah. And the two Schnobsman suggested to me for this video are Chosen and Keemstar, and Mr. Epsilon and Onision. We're going to start with Chosen and Keemstar. Now, a lot of the memes that people spam across the internet, like Alex is a stupid nigger, fuck the fans, all of that originally came from Chosen. He was the one to highlight the type of shit that Keemstar was doing. So, for example, all of the death threats, all of the doxing, all of the things that make Keemstar an absolute cunt came from Chosen. He was the one that kind of exposed it all. So, when people spam those memes and people highlight those issues, that's where it originally comes from, Chosen. And I think it's personally good because he really was exposing Keemstar for what he truly was. I mean, Keemstar had been known for a rat for a while, but it wasn't until Chosen came along and highlighted the type of shit that he was doing did people really start to pay attention. And you could argue that Chosen was the one that really kicked off the whole Keemstar exposed bandwagon, and he's the one that I credit for starting it, certainly. You know? But, and at the same time, I could also argue why people maybe think it's unnecessary or pointless, because Chosen made, like, what, 4 or 5 videos? You could argue that you would only need to make one, at the most 2, but he made, like, 4 or 5, and, you know, and I can understand why some people might think, oh, he's just milking it, he's just doing it for views, Keemstar's a popular name, blah, 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 blah. You know, and, you know, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Everybody can think it's good or bad, you know, it's really up to you. But I personally think it's good. And with Mr. Epsilon and Onision, it's kind of the same thing, because Mr. Epsilon, along with some guy 27, was really instrumental in getting the truth out about Onision. Again, Onision had kind of been known as a literal douchebag for quite some time. But when Mr. Epsilon and some guy 27 started making videos on Onision, everybody jumped on the bandwagon. Hell, I'm guilty of this too. Everybody made videos calling him out on his bullshit. And in my opinion, the videos Mr. Epsilon made on Onision are some of the greatest YouTube videos of all time. They're that good. Because they don't rely on insults, they don't rely on ad hominem attacks or any of this other bullshit. It's just straight up logic and facts, and that's great. You know, I really, really enjoyed it. But then again, I can also understand why people might think, oh, you're just milking it, you're just doing it for views, blah, 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 blah. And hell, Mr. Epsilon's made like a total, I think it's like 15 videos on Onision. It's quite a lot. That just makes up a fraction of his overall channel, of course, but that's a pretty significant amount. And even in some of the later videos, a lot of the comments were people complaining that Mr. Epsilon was kind of milking the Onision bandwagon to his benefit, you know? And I guess I could see it that way, you know, like, while I think it's good, others might think that it's, you know, just simply milking. And like I said before, there's really nothing wrong with that. That's why it's a gray area. Some people think it's good, others think it's bad, pointless, and unnecessary. And everybody can be entitled to have their own opinion. I mean, after all, that's what makes the internet so great. Now, we're going to move on to good bandwagons. Now, there was a lot of bandwagons that I considered for this video, but there are 2 particular that I want to highlight as being good bandwagons. Because bandwagons has this sort of negative connotation to it, and that's not always the case. So the first one that I want to talk about is, of course, YouTube's fair use disaster. This has been pretty well documented. I mean, I think everybody knows the fair use system on YouTube is absolute bullshit, and it has been for quite some time. Numerous people have gotten their videos taken down via false flags, false copyrights. I was a victim of this myself, so that's why I'm so passionate about it. And 2016 was really the year that content creators really stood up and said, no, we're not going to accept this bullshit anymore. We're not going to stand for it. This is bullshit. You know, it affects content creators as a whole, and the fair use, copyright and fair use on YouTube can be easily abused by companies and individuals to take down videos they don't like. And so people made a huge stink about it, telling YouTube that they would not stand for this, and telling YouTube that the fair use system was absolutely broken and that Content ID was broken. And what happened? The CEO of YouTube, Susan Wojcicki, I hope I'm saying her name right, actually acknowledged the problems and started implementing some changes to make the Content ID system more fair. And what they did is that when a video gets flagged for Content ID, all of the money goes to the company or individual that flagged it, of course, if you're monetizing it. And if the user can successfully prove that their content is under fair use, then the money goes back to the creator, the person that made the video. And, well, it's a small step, it's a small fix. It's better than nothing, and that wouldn't have happened if people didn't make a stink about it, if people didn't discuss it. And I think content creators have more power than we like to give ourselves credit for, because, you know, with the collective just bitching of the YouTube community, and sometimes bitching can be good, is what got YouTube to take notice and realize, oh, well, we fucked up. Maybe we should rethink this and implement some changes to actually protect our creators. And well, sure, there's still a lot of problems, and I think the Content ID system needs a major overhaul. At the very least, it was a start. And then when you also look at the whole Fine Brothers React World situation, that was an absolute clusterfuck. I have never seen such a case of greed and hubris in the 9 years that I've been making YouTube videos. It was, in fact, the biggest case of greed and hubris. And the fact that they were going to go along with it and they were treating it as a good thing was quite alarming. And on paper, it sounded like a good idea. If it was just a regular MCN, then I don't think they would have gotten as much hate as they did. But it wasn't. They wanted to essentially monopolize the reaction video genre. They went after anybody that was making reaction videos. They went after Ellen DeGeneres, Jimmy Kimmel. It was a whole mess. If people didn't speak out about it, if people didn't say, no, you cannot monopolize an entire genre, you can't trademark a word, this is bullshit, if people didn't speak out about it, if people didn't make videos about it and tweet about it and do whatever, they more than likely would have gone ahead with it. And that would have had huge consequences, not just for people that make reaction videos, but for people that just make content as a whole. You know? And through the collective voices of the community, because everybody jumped on the bandwagon, of course, again, myself included, and made videos about it, detailing our displeasure, the Fine Brothers saw what they were doing. They realized, oh, maybe this wasn't such a good idea, and then they discontinued the entire program, killing it completely. And that wouldn't have happened if content creators didn't speak out and say that it was wrong. You know? So bandwagons don't necessarily always have to be bad. They can be good. And in these two instances, which I believe were incredibly important, people let their voices be heard. And we finally put our foot down as content creators and said, this is YouTube. This is our playground, and you're not gonna fuck with us. You're not gonna come around here with your greed and hubris and try to take it over, because we make YouTube what it is. And if you cross us, we're gonna make sure that you regret it. And as a content creator myself, it's one of my proudest moments to see the community put all of their bullshit aside and come together for once and fight against a common problem, a common enemy, if you will. And for the most part, it worked out pretty well. Now, what bandwagons do I consider to be bad? Well, there are several. So I'm going to start with, oh god, Onision. Like, who the hell still cares about Onision in 2016? Yeah, I know, he used to be relevant once upon a time, but he's not now. His channel has been steadily declining for years. He's just a sad vegetarian cuck who makes videos bashing other YouTubers and starting drama with other people for nothing more than attention. For nothing more than YouTube money. I mean, hell, this is the same guy that tried to get TJ, aka the Amazing Atheist, to go on the Steve Wilkos show, I'm not kidding, to create this whole fake drama war between them for the purpose of gaining attention on national television. Those are the lengths Onision is willing to go in order to garner attention, in order to bring attention to himself. And the fact that people continue to fall for it is quite astonishing to me. I mean, why the hell do you think that he made a video on iDubbbz after he roasted Leafy on the whole no chin thing? He didn't make the video because he actually had something to say. He made the video because he wanted to jump on the bandwagon for views, and because he wanted to bring attention to himself, and also because he was salty that iDubbbz made a better video than him, considering he went after Leafy a few times before this. You know, and I found it to be incredibly hypocritical for him to say that we cannot call out Leafy for having a weak chin, you know, and saying that iDubbbz is ugly, when he himself has shamed fat people and other people for being ugly. I mean, it's just hypocritical. But even though, yes, I made several videos on Onision, and I made a Guide to Surviving the Internet episode on him back in February, as for right now, I don't plan to make any more videos on Onision because that would be playing into exactly what he wants. Attention, and that's where Leafy really fucked up by making a rant on Onision, because he played into exactly what he wants. Attention. Onision is one of the biggest attention whores on the internet. His content is shit. It provides nothing of value. And ultimately, he's just a sad, pathetic douchebag that honestly should just be forgotten about at this point. I mean, because when you make content saying, "This is my vegetarian body," you know, you can't really be taken seriously. You know, and the fact that people still make videos about Onision in this day and age is just, it's just sad. It really is, considering Onision has been a dead topic for years, and I honestly wish he would just go away and fuck off. I mean, so if you're thinking about doing a video on Onision, please don't. Everybody knows how much of a douchebag Onision is. Everybody knows how much of an attention whore Onision is. We don't need more videos continuing to point it out. Now, another example that I have of a bad bandwagon is Kablam Bandicoot 64. Now, this is going to be slightly controversial, but I just have to get my 2 cents out about this. I've seen a handful of this guy's videos, and so many people have made commentaries about him, trying to paint him as the worst commentator on YouTube. He's awful, he's this and that, and blah, 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 blah. And to be honest with you, I can't see it. When I was watching this guy's videos, I was thinking to myself, really? This is the guy? This is the guy that everybody's creaming their pants over? I mean, yeah, I get it. He's not a very good commentator, and I know that he's also way too obsessed with the mysterious Mr. Enter. But to me, it doesn't really make sense continuing to make videos on Kablam about how obsessed he is with Mr. Enter, when at this point he's not going to change. He doesn't listen to anybody. He labels all of his detractors as trolls and Enterbots. At this point, he's a lost cause. He's somebody that honestly shouldn't be praised and shouldn't be scorned. He should just be forgotten about. I mean, and there's so many other issues that I have with Kablam that I'm going to highlight in my upcoming Examine episode on him, but if anything, he's an average, mediocre commentator. He's substandard and dime a dozen at best. And he's slowly becoming a dead topic. I don't know why people are still making commentaries about Kablam. It's not going to help. It's not going to work. He's not going to listen to anybody. I mean, he's proven as such that he's not going to listen to anybody. He's hard-headed. He's so egotistical and arrogant that trying to get through to this guy at this point wouldn't make any sense. It would be dumb. It would be like banging your head against the wall, hoping that coins come out, hoping that maybe you could get through to him, and it's just not going to work. And trust me when I say this, there's a lot of other commentators on YouTube. Hell, there's a lot of other people on YouTube that make videos in general that are far worse than Kablam Bandicoot 64. If anything, Kablam is God compared to some of the people that I've gone after. Compared to the likes of people like Leafy, Onision, Keemstar, and so many others. But I mean, that's my short spiel about the guy. I'll have more on him on my Examining episode coming October 18th. And the last bad bandwagon that I want to highlight is Bill Cosby and Nate Parker. Now, this is probably going to be really controversial, but everybody is so quick to label them as rapists. Now, in the case of Bill Cosby, he's going on trial for rape next June. Yes, next June. So by this time next year, we'll know for sure whether or not Bill Cosby is a rapist and Nate Parker was acquitted of supposed rape. Although I have a strong suspicion they will probably go back and reinvestigate the whole thing. And whenever I see something on the internet related to Bill Cosby or Nate Parker, and I make the mistake of going into the comments, every comment is like, oh, he's a rapist, he's a rapist, he's a rapist. Oh, because these women said these two men raped them, then it must be true. He's a rapist, he's a rapist. Like I said in my video on the Toby Turner rape allegations, I'm not going to say that Bill Cosby or Nate Parker are innocent, and I'm also not going to say that these women are lying. However, we should wait for facts and evidence to present themselves before we just automatically jump on a bandwagon and assume that, oh, he's a rapist, or these women are lying, they're a bunch of lying whores, blah, 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 blah. You know, and all this bullshit saying, all this bullshit about Bill Cosby and Nate Parker, it just leads to this whole mob mentality that I just can't fucking stand. I can't stand it. You know, because we're so quick to assume that they're rapists, even though we don't know. We don't know. Bill Cosby has not been fucking convicted of this shit. Neither has Nate Parker. You know? Like, okay, listen. When it comes out, and in the case of Bill Cosby, if he did in fact rape these women, if he did in fact do awful, despicable shit to them, if he did do it, then yes, he's a horrible human being and he deserves to go away for a long time. Same thing with Nate Parker. But if it comes out that they didn't do it, that they are completely innocent, then that's where it should be. They're either guilty or innocent. And until the jury decides in either favor, we shouldn't just be quick to label them as rapists. Because what if it comes out that they're innocent? You know, what if it comes out that they didn't rape these women? Then what? You just wasted your time. You wasted all this time and energy labeling two men as rapists that might not have even done it. And it would make you look like an asshole. Like a jump into conclusions asshole. You know, and that's why do you think I waited so long to make a video on the Toby Turner rape allegations? I wanted the dust to settle, and I wanted all of the facts and evidence to present itself before making a knee-jerk reaction. And I just can't stand it. It's bullshit. It's ridiculous, and it just makes the internet a miserable place. The fact that people can't think for themselves and they just follow along with this whole mob mentality, and they think, well, if this thing said they were rapists, if this outlet said they were rapists, if this woman said they were rapists, then it must be true. You know, we're not going to think for ourselves and wait for the facts and evidence to present itself. Oh, he's supposedly a rapist? Guilty as charged, no trial. He deserves to go to jail. He's a horrible person. Fuck him. His career should be ruined. I don't get it. And I don't think we should be ruining people's careers over allegations. And that's what they are. Allegations. And like I said before, if it's proven that both of these men, Bill Cosby and Nate Parker, did in fact rape these women, if they did what they've been accused of, then yes, they should go to jail. But if they're innocent, then people just need to let it go and move on with their lives. Because labeling somebody as a rapist, when you don't really have any evidence to prove that's the case, it doesn't make you look good. It really doesn't. And you're no better as Keemstar. Just jump into conclusions and assuming one thing without getting both sides. It's just, oh god. But really, that's all I gotta say. I think I've covered bandwagons pretty well at this point. So yeah. This is ThatKidDouglas, aka the Unhero, signing out. Deuces. Stay frosty and keep it weird. Cueing outro sequence now.